Welcome to our Basics of Python video series by Urdu IT Academy. So today we are going to learn about nested loops. Before that, let's have a look on previous class assignment question. All right. So the first question was to create a program to print odd numbers up to a limit. So here you can see I'm asking the user to enter a limit and the answer. I'm storing it inside the variable limit. Right. So here we have written 16. So this answer 16 will be stored inside the variable limit. Okay. We're using a for loop for x in range. X is starting from 1 up to the limit 16. And each time after each execution, x will be incremented by 2. Okay. So we are printing x. In the first execution, x is 1. Just like we have specified here. After that, x will be updated by 2. X will be incremented by 2. So 1 plus 1, it is 3. So going inside, it will print 3. Next time, 3 plus 2, 5. Then 5 plus 2, 7, like that. So up to 16, right? So here it will be printing up to 15 because limit is 16. So all the odd numbers inside that limit 16 is up to 15. Okay. Now the next question. One sec. Yeah. Now the next question was to create a program to print the multiplication table of a given number. Here, there is a small mistake. Actually, it should be enter the number. Okay. Just correct it as enter the number. Okay. So it should be int input, enter the number. Which number we need to add? Okay. You need to add it as number here. Okay. So here you can see the user has written the number 7. Okay. So we need to print a table of 7, right? So I'm adding a for loop for I in range 1, 11, which means this for loop will be executing from 1 to 10. Okay. So here I have a variable answer. Answer is equal to I into num. By default, the first value of I is 1. So 1 into num means the answer will be 1 into 7. At the first execution, answer is 7. Right? After that, we are printing I. I means 1. After that, inside the single quote, we are adding X to add the symbol X. Then the num means the number 7. Equal to also inside the code, so it will be printing just like that. Now the answer is now 7. So the 7 is printed. Okay. In the next execution, I will be 2. So it will be printing 2x num 2x 7 equal to answer. So answer will be 2 into 7, 14. Like that, it will be printing up to 10 into 7, 17. I hope it's clear. So today we are going to learn about nested loop. Now, what is this nested loop? So a nested loop in Python refers to a loop within another loop. So whenever we are adding a loop inside another loop, we call it as a nested loop. Okay. So the inner loop will be executed one time for each iteration of the outer loop. Okay. So we'll be looking on that. Let's have a program. Before this program, let's do one more program. I'll show you another program about nested loop, right? Suppose I'm adding a for loop for I in range, maybe 5. So you know that this for loop is going to execute from 0 to 4 because range is 5. Sorry, limit is 5, right? So whenever I'm printing I, you can see it is going to print from 0 to 4 because by default the starting value will be 0. Now, what I need to do is that instead of printing I, so this for loop will execute total 5 times, right? 0 to 4, total 5 times this for loop will execute. So inside this for loop, I'm going to add another for loop for maybe j in range, maybe 3 times. Okay, starting from 0 to 2, it will execute. Okay, so here I'm going to print maybe high. I'm going to print high. You can see what will be the output. You can see all the highs printed here, right? So how many highs are here? There will be total 5 into 3, 15 highs written here. Okay, because in each execution of the I, when I is 0, high will be printed 3 times. When I is 1, high will be again printed 3 times. When I is 2, again the high will be printed 3 times. So like that, up to total 5 times when this first for loop executing, that much times this, high will be printed 3 times. So 5 into 3, total 15 times. Maybe I'm going to do one more thing. Like inside this for loop, the first for loop, before the second for loop, I'm going to print maybe some dashes. Let's see, maybe 3 dashes enough. Let's see how it will appear. You can see. So this is our first dash. Then we are executing the first inner J loop first time. 3 times, 0 to 3, 0 to 2, 3 times it will execute high. Then again, what happens? First, when I is 0, imagine when I is 0, it will print the first dash. After that, it will execute this for loop. For J in range 3 times it will print this high. Okay. After that, computer will again go here. Now the value of I will be changed to 1. Okay. Again, we are printing the dash. Again, inside the 4J, we are printing high for 3 times. Again, going up, this time I will be changed to 2. Again, we are printing the dash, like that it will work. Okay. Total 5 times, you can see. Total 5 times it will be happening. Okay. I hope it's clear. Now, one more thing, you can see all the highs printing in different lines, right? Suppose I want to print them in the same line. Okay. Imagine I want to print this high. Maybe instead of high, I'm going to print a star. So how it will appear? Maybe only 2 star is enough. Let's run. You can see the output, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times this loop is executing, right? In each execution, it is printing 2 star because of the inner for loop. So in this program, we call the first for loop as the outer for loop and the second for loop as the inner for loop. Okay. Now, oh yeah. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is that I want to print all these star in the same line. Now to print them in the same line after printing the star, right? So in Python, by default, whenever we are printing something, it will, after printing, it will go to the next line. So to avoid that, after printing inside the print statement, you need to put a comma and you need to type end is equal to, you need to specify what you have to add at the end. Maybe I'm adding a space. Inside the quotes, I'm adding a space. Let's see how it will work. You can see the output here. Okay. Because first it will print this star. That's what here, that's what happening here. Then inside the inner for loop, it will print 2 star. After the printing the 2 star, the mouse pointer will wait there. Now in the next execution, whenever it is going up here, printing the dashes, it will be printing here only. Since after this dash, we don't have any end is equal to space, right? That's why it will automatically go to the next line. Okay. Now maybe instead of this dash, I don't want this dash. Just making it empty. Let's see how it will work. See, all of them are like this. What if I'm not adding any print at all? Sorry. You can see all of them are in the same line. Because after printing the star, it is staying in the same line. So always remember, after printing this one, if you're making a pattern, okay? If you want to make it go to the next line, you need to add a print statement. Empty print statement is enough. So that by default, after this execution of the inner for loop, it will go to the next line. Okay, you can type any number, okay? Whichever number you want, you can type. That much times the inner for loop will be executing. You can see it here, right? I hope it's clear. Now let's go back to our slides. Okay, so here you can see this is a program to create a star pattern. So here, this is the output we need, okay? So first I'm asking the user to enter the number of rows. You can see the user has entered 4. So 4 will be stored inside the variable n. Okay. Now this is a outer for loop. Okay. So for I in range 0, n is 4, right? Which means we are writing for I in range 4, starting from 0 up to 4. which means total 4 times. 0 to 3, total 4 times this for loop will execute. Now this is an inner for loop. For j in range, inner for loop also starting from 0 up to I plus 1. Okay. In the first execution, I is 0, right? So here I plus 1 means 0 plus 1, 1. Okay. So total 1 time it is printing the star. After that, it is staying on the same line. Okay. But after executing the first time, the computer will go to the next line using the printer. Unit of the printer, you can just keep it as empty print statement. Okay. So the computer will be going on the next line. All right. Now again, we are coming back here. I is now 1. I is now changed to 1. So for j in range 0, comma I plus 1. I is now 1. So 1 plus 1 means 2. So total 2 times it will print the star. After that, we are going on the next line using the empty print statement. Okay. Then in the next execution, I will be 2. So for j in range 0, comma 2 plus 1, j will be changed to up to 3 times. Then a for loop will executing. So it will be printing 3 star. Then going on the next line, going up, I will be now 4. Sorry, I will be now 3. Going inside the inner for loop for j in range 3 plus 1. Now the value of j will be changed to 4. Right? So that's why 4 times the star is printing. After the next line, after that, whenever it is going up, I will be, change it to 4. The program will stop there. Because only up to 0 to 3, it will execute. Okay. You can try. So all these codes, you can access it from our Urdu IT Academy GitHub page. Okay. Now the next question. Here also I want to create a number pattern, not the star. I want to create a number pattern. So here you can see I'm asking the user to enter the number of rows. They have written 5. So it is stored inside the variable rows. Now for I in range rows plus 1, which means up to 6. Rows is 5. So 6 plus up to 6, which means total 0 to 5. 5 times this one number will be executed. Okay. Now for j in range I. Okay. So whenever I is 0, okay. So j in range I. What we are doing is that we are printing the I. Okay. So whenever the I is 1, we are printing 1 for 1 time. Next execution, when I is 2. Whenever the I becomes 2 for j in range 2. 2 times we are printing 2. Okay. Then when I becomes 3, 3 times we will be printing 3. Because here we are printing I. Remember, this is I. We are printing the I. This I we are printing. Okay. Now in the next execution, when I is 4, the j loop will be starting executing up to 4. Like j in range 4, which means 0 to 3. Total 4 times it is printing 4. Like that, it will print 5 also. Okay, you can try. Now the next question you can see, this is a reverse pattern. Okay. Now in case of reverse pattern also, I'm asking the user to enter the number of rows. Now n is equal to rows. The rows I'm just storing inside the variable n. Okay. So now for I in range rows. So here, as I told you in the last class, whenever there are 3 parameters in the for loop, the first value is the starting number of I. Second value becomes the limit of I, and the third value tells the computer whether it has to increment or decrement the value, right? So starting value of I is rows, which is now 5. Limit is 0, and to tell the computer that it is going in the reverse order, you need to specify -1. Okay. Now inside the for loop, here in the inner for loop, for j in range, j is starting from 0 up to I. Okay. I means by default I is starting from 5. You can see I is starting from 5. So total 5 times this for loop will execute. We are printing n. N means rows, which is 5. Okay. Now again going up, rows will be decreased by 1. Rows will be now 4. Okay. Now this for loop, the inner for loop will execute 0 to I. I is now 4. So it will execute 4 times. We are printing n. We are always printing n. Okay. 5. Like that, it will print 5 for 3 times, 2 times, and 1 time. Whenever I becomes 1, after printing, it will stop executing. Okay. Now, this program here, I'm going to print the odd number pattern. Okay. So here, the number of rows, we are asking the user to enter the number of rows. After that, this loop, now I did it using the while loop, because not only for loop, we can create a nested while loop also. Okay. So I have a variable I equal to 1. While I less than rows, I is now 1, 1 less than equal to rows. So you can see I have written 6 here. So 1 less than 6 is true. So another variable j is starting from 1, while so this j I have created to use along with the inner while loop. Okay. So j less than equal to I. As long as j is less than or equal to I, we are printing I into 2. I into 2, I is now 1. 1 into 2 is 2. 2 minus 1, which is 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. We are printing 1. Okay, after that, j will be incremented by 2. 2 less than equal to 1 is wrong. So it is coming out of the while loop here. Coming out of the while loop means here. It is incrementing I. I also becomes 1 plus 1, 2. After that, we are going on the next line. Then we are going up here to check again 2 less than equal to 6. That's correct. J is again set to 1. While j is 1, 1 less than equal to 2. I is now 2. Okay. That is correct. So we are printing I. I is now 2. 2 into 2 is 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. So we are printing 3. Total 2 times it will print. Okay. Same way in the next execution when I becomes 3. Here you can see 3 into 2 is 6. 6 minus 1 is 5. That's why here it is printing a number of 5. Next time when I becomes 4. 4 into 2 is 8. 8 minus 1 is 7. That's why we are getting 7 here. Like that, the while loop will execute. Okay. Same thing. Now the next question, using the for loop again, I'm going to print the multiplication, answers, row into take column. These are the simple programs you can try, okay, so that you can practice it. So for I in range 1 comma rows, starting from 1 up to the rows, in the inner for loop is starting from 1, you can see up to I plus 1. Okay, we are printing I into j. I is the number of rows, j is the number of columns. In the first execution, 1 into 1, the output is 1. In the next execution, when I becomes 2, what happens? Here you can see when I becomes 2, it will be printing 2 into 1, 2, then 2 into 2, 4. Then when I becomes 3, it will be printing 3 into 1, 3, 3 into 2, 6, 3 into 3, 9, like that. Like that, it will be continuing. Clear? The same thing. I hope the concept is clear, the nested loops. Now what we are going to do is that I'm going to give a simple assignment. 2 homeworks are there. To write a program to print a reverse star pattern. In the program, we have already created a reverse number pattern. Same way, you can try to print a reverse star pattern. Okay. Now, the second question is to create a program to print even number pattern. In this video series, we have already done the odd number pairings. Same way, you can try the even numbers pairings. Sorry, even number pattern. I hope it's clear. So, all the codes we are using in this video series, you can access it from Urdu IT Academy GitHub page. Okay. So happy learning. See you in the next video. Assalamu alaikum. Bye.